Hey guys, Glove Shed, welcome back to part 7 of my Call of Cthulhu playthrough. We just got out of the asylum. We are now at a point in the game where I do not know what happens, and I can't recall, like before in the asylum I can recall, I never got past, I couldn't unlock the door, that kind of stuff. But now, this will be interesting. We left off with finding out, did Fuller found Riverside, but his father did. Really prominent member. Somehow, Bradley's still alive. Maybe we're going to say maybe we're not. Let's continue with these answers. Sarah Hawkins was committed.
I found a file bearing Sarah Hawkins' name in the Institute's basement.
It makes sense. A powerful family like the Hawkins had the means to hide such a disgrace.
But everyone knows the Fullers have been taking care of the Hawkins for at least a generation. And all were aware of Mrs. Hawkins' fragility.
Perhaps, but no one would allow a psychiatric internment.
From what I read in the file, Fuller used her as a subject of his experiments.
Francis Sanders and Sarah Hawkins, subjects of Dr. Fuller. Why those two?
We unlocked this answer too.
I found this at the Hawkins house. The doses seem insane.
Barbiturates. But these doses...
What do you mean?
Half the island is under treatment. What is prescribed here, however, is enough to knock out an ox.
Fuller wrote this prescription to fool everyone into believing she was mad.
Or perhaps her husband wrote it.
Perhaps Charles and Dr. Fuller were in league.
A conspiracy. How dreadful.
Dr. Fuller seems to be leaving a trail of corpses. Not to mention those strange machines, chains, and tools of all kind.
Yes. I've been telling you that Fuller uses his patients as guinea pigs.
What I saw was more akin to torture than medicine.
Do you even hear what you're saying? Dr. Fuller is highly respected.
It's the truth, Ethan. And I'll prove it to you. I'm listening, Mr. Pierce.
So there's something I missed. So whether it was a prescription, maybe the machine, maybe you activate this machine instead of the gas and you get this. My medicine's not interesting.
What I'm sure of now is that the Hawkins case isn't just an accident.
And what brings you to that conclusion?
The fact that Charles Hawkins survived the fire.
I don't understand. Mr. Hawkins was buried.
That's what he would have you believe.
I have a hard time believing you.
You were there, Bradley. You even opened fire on him.
I'd remember that.
Why would he fake his own death? Do you think he covered up his wife's murder?
That's possible.
Seems hard to swallow. Don't you have anything more concrete, Pierce?
Bradley, what do you remember?
I don't understand your question.
The night we went into the Hawkins mansion. You don't seem to remember the tunnels and what occurred there.
No memory of going down any tunnel. No, we were in the manor, then,
Then what?
The rest is quite blurry. I don't recall how I came back home.
And then?
I went to visit you at the hospital, and called on Marie's help to get you released.
And you don't remember the events of the tunnel?
I don't. Let's talk about something else.
Let's see.
I heard you talking earlier.
Why am I not surprised?
I get the impression you two don't get along.
Intrusive and not very clever. Anyway, let's get back to the business at hand.
So that didn't... My psychology didn't work. And my medicine doesn't do anything. And apparently there was 2 other objectives I did not have. Can't do the occult.
I met a Francis Sanders. Do you know him?
Of course, he's a patient. Or was. I haven't seen him since Dr. Fuller had him transferred to the basement.
He knew Sarah Hawkins, and that's what killed him.
How did he die?
I'm not sure I can explain it.
Tell me how Mr. Sanders died.
He called him the Shambler.
I didn't see what, but something was there with us.
Of what do you speak?
Sanders said it was Sarah Hawkins' visitor. He spoke of it like a living being.
Sarah Hawkins? Have I missed something here? This makes no sense. I don't see how it can help crack the Hawkins case.
You really think she's involved? How could she have murdered Mr. Sanders?
Francis Sanders mentioned Mrs. Hawkins just before dying. It's no coincidence.
You know, Francis Sanders was a well-known art collector. I guess you can still pay a visit to his wife, Irene Sanders.
An art collector, you say? That's probably how they met.
If you plan on having dinner at the Sanders household, please spare the widow the tale of her late husband's suffering.
I don't agree. She deserves the truth.
But that truth may be biased. We don't know the bottom of it.
What do you guys think? Stay prudent or better confront the truth? I don't trust Bradley. And telling a woman that she already thought her husband was crazy, she had him committed. Bradley came back after being killed, if that's what we did see. We may not have seen. Don't know if we can also trust her, but let's stay prudent, because going around saying, oh, this invisible thing killed your husband in the basement of whatever, and then it's going to make her feel even worse because she's the one that had him committed.
You're right. Without a plausible explanation for what I saw, let's not jump to conclusions.
That seems wise indeed.
Very well. I'll go to see Francis's widow. Perhaps I'll find a link between her husband's death and Sarah Hawkins.
Don't end up in the hospital this time.
I'll do my best.
Alright, so that's interesting. So if you choose this one or this one, it makes a big difference. Oh, Dr. Fuller, age 52. Occupation, Riverside Senior Physician. Dr. Fuller reigns as the undisputed master of the Riverside Institute and of its cellars, in which he carries out illegal experiments on his patients. I don't know what he has done to me, but I shouldn't be back on my feet so soon after my fall when the tunnel under the Hawkins mansion caved in. This man is dangerous, and I'd swear that he knows more about all this business than he's willing to tell, which is the truth. And we're almost out of our investigation, and then next we'll work on psychology, because that's going to get us more information.
Let us go now and learn the truth about what's happening on this island.
The other night's events are still confused in my head.
Let's see, is there any... Talk to Sanders' widow, but is there any... Now that it's light... Wait! What's going on? There was a big painting of them here. There it is. Guys, there's things in the manor have changed. We can see that. Oh. No, we're not going to drink. I think it wants you to drink throughout the game. We're not going to drink. We're not even going to bother. But we're starting to see changes that we did not expect before. Like these pictures were down here. Leave. What's upstairs? Can I go upstairs? Is this still the same as leave? Oh, I guess we just leave either way. The Sanders residence. Pierce, Colden, and Bradley decide to team up to solve the Sarah Hawkins case. They have a new trail to follow. Francis Sanders, an art collector and friend of the painter who died right in front of Pierce. The detective goes to this house in order to speak to his widow about the Shambler that the unfortunate man mentioned before he died.
What can I do for you, sir?
Mrs. Sanders, I'm a private detective. We must talk about your husband and his ties to Sarah Hawkins. Can I come in?
You may.
May I come in? Not can.
However, before we go any further, please know that my husband died yesterday.
That is precisely what brings me here.
Well, well. Look who's here. You know each other.
Our paths crossed, briefly. The brave detective has a talent for sticking his nose into my business.
I bump into her every time I'm investigating someone's death.
It's a small island, detective. My island. It's better that it's you bumping into me.
You're investigating Francis' death. Why? Who hired you?
I spoke to Francis before he died. His story suggests a link to a case I'm working on.
Well, since this business has got nothing to do with me, I'll be in your husband's office, Irene. We'll carry on later.
Very well, Miss Baker. This way, Mr. Pierce. And do make yourself comfortable. It would seem that you have much to tell me. May I inquire as to when you had the opportunity to talk to my husband?
Yesterday, I met him at the hospital. He spoke to me about Sarah Hawkins.
Oh, of course he spoke to you about her. That's all he talked about. Sarah Hawkins and her paintings. Please forgive my tone. The fact is that I have not been allowed to see him since he was interned. You, on the other hand, a perfect stranger, were able to see him and even talk with him the day he died. How was he? Were you present when he had this attack? What happened?
You can't do that one. I don't want to say that. I don't want to say you're taking it quite well. I can't do psychology, so we'll do I was no longer there when it happened. Remember, we're going to be prudent.
We had a short conversation and then I left. I don't know what happened after that.
Oh, I see. Mr. Pierce, you must forgive my audaciousness. But I've had practice of life in high society for over 30 years. Reading one's interlocutors, recognizing the politeness of a lie, are things that are taught very early to young girls from a good family. But your lie has nothing polite about it. It is crass, insulting, and dare I say, terribly suspicious. Try to understand my position. I need to understand. How could this happen? In a reputed institute? And right before your eyes? Did you not do anything to help him?
Oh. Well. That's low. It wasn't me who sent him there. Oh. You know what? I don't have the whole test of eloquence. But I can be a dick. Because a true culprit is not Fuller, I know that's not.
With all due respect, Mrs. Sanders, it was you who sent him to this asylum, not me.
How dare you? What was I supposed to do, Detective? Upon seeing such a brilliant mind disintegrate in this way, waking with a start every night with him shrieking in horror, petrified before this accursed painting, unable to look away, until he managed to gouge his eyes out with his own hands. I should have listened to Dr. Fuller, let him intern him months ago. If I am to be condemned, it is because I did not act sooner.
I'm not here to condemn you, Mrs. Sanders.
Oh, I'm tired, Mr. Pierce. I would be grateful if you could tell me what you expect of me, and then leave.
I want to do this unlocked answer.
Did your husband talk to you about Sarah Hawkins' visitor? Shambler, to use his precise terms.
Well, you can imagine that's all he talked about. It's exhibited at the center of the gallery. No better place for the painting that endowed him with the privilege of such a shameful and miserable end to his life.
Hold on. The Shambler is a painting by Sarah Hawkins.
Who else to paint such horrors? Take a look for yourself, if you feel so inclined.
It is my only lead at this stage. I suppose I have nothing to lose.
Then you have paid no heed. For my part, I refuse to set foot in that gallery again. But if you're so eager to see it...
Thank you, Mrs. Sanders. I won't be long.
Oh, interesting. And I can't talk to her anymore. Oh.
Is this dagger part of Sanders' collection, or was he seeking to acquire it?
Okay, guys, that was a guess on my part. So 4 and then the second one in. Art and Mysticism. Forgotten Objects is a collection written by Francis Sanders. In it, he catalogs and categorizes objects from all ages and origins that are linked to occult or mystical practices. It is opened on the page of a dagger that bears a symbol that is not known to me. Interesting. Wow, I'm bringing my occulticism up. Oh, yes. We are now master, and then we will work on psychology next. Eloquence is not my cup of tea. Age 41, occupation none, Irene Sanders. It's clear that she holds Sarah Hawkins responsible for the death of her husband, but what I don't understand about Irene Sanders is the mix of sadness and insensitivity. It looks as she had given up on her husband long before his horrid death in the cellars of the Riverside Institute. Yeah, I'm a little concerned too. But I'm glad I found that. That was completely by mistake.
Did she really care for him after all?
Letter of refusal. Dear Madam, I acknowledge receipt of this letter in which you demand the body of your deceased husband. I'm sorry to inform you that I cannot agree to the return of his body to you. At the moment of his interment, you signed a discharge allowing me to dispose of the body as I see fit. I extend my deepest condolences to you, Thomas Fuller. Interesting.
The day the Shambler came into the Sanders' lives.
A photograph of Sarah Hawkins next to Sanders. They must be close. Interesting, because that doesn't really look like her. Reconstruction. Interesting.
A house of artists. A house of artists.
Okay.
Francis Sanders and Sarah Hawkins were close. Friends, even? A house of artists.
Are they a house of artists? Investigation.
Sanders' accession register. He wrote beside the Shambler. Finally. What did Sarah Hawkins fear so much that she didn't want to sell the painting?
Oh. That's interesting. I still think it's weird. This is...
A house of artists.
Because I already found... Probably because I already found it.
He finally won. Was Sanders aware of his imminent doom?
Oh, she did not like the painting.
Was she jealous of Sarah Hawkins?
No. I didn't get it.
She first refused to sell the painting. How did that make her feel?
I really need to start working on the... I don't know if she was jealous. She was...
The Shambler. I need to see it.
Oh, it looks like it can hide in this place. Ooh, Breviary of Medicine, Tome 2. The second volume in this series covers everything from gas gangrene to trench nephritis. In addition to a precise and detailed study, the book presents some avant-garde theories. The incredible complexity of this book reserves it for medical experts. Huh. Heck yeah, look at that. Up, up, and away. Alright. Alright. I can't talk to you anymore. But there's a lot of paintings. We need you want to look around. Interesting paintings. Very much an art collector, so he was an art dealer. Huh. Interesting painting of his wife. Weird that he would collect all of this. Huh, I wonder who that is. What room is this?
Let's see what this cylinder has to say once it's inserted in a phonograph.
Interesting. I think the gallery is that way, so let's... Alright.
Irene, I made a mistake. I fear that it might be too late for me. Nobody should enter, except to burn everything. I never had the courage. Pay somebody to do it. He's inside my head. I see him behind my eyelids each time I shut my eyes. I can't take any more. I can't hold him back. Forgive me.
That accursed gallery. Those accursed paintings. That accursed Sarah.
Francis Sanders cylinder. Oh. Oh. Navigate. Oh, you can put more on there. Okay, so I found that. So let's have a conversation with what we can find. Ah, that door is locked. Interesting. But what's interesting is that there is a keyhole. Why can't I get in? Alright, I guess we're... Let's see if our chair holds anything. No. Alright, I guess we'll leave. The paintings of his wife are getting... All the doors are... Oh, nice. That heats the house.
I could use one of those.
I found these sleeping pills in the Sanders' house. Were they prescribed to Francis Sanders and Irene? Who knows?
Strange. For months, Sarah Hawkins refused to part with her painting, to finally give it away for nothing.
Dear Francis, I beg you to give up all hope of ever owning this accursed painting. If our friendship has any meaning to you, please spare me the weight of guilt. I cannot be the architect of your fall. I beg you, my dear friend, forget the shambler. Your friend, Sarah Hawkins. Ooh, The Whale and the Cod. A Brief History of Darkwater Island. The Whale and the Cod by Erwin Greenmouth. It is focused on the past glory of the island. I wonder if collecting these books does anything.
Another volume of the Reverend's wife's diary.
I don't have volume 1, so I missed something. This volume spends some time on Reverend Wickwood's community. His wife expresses her worries about the strange dreams that the Reverend's congregation are having since their arrival on the island. Some members of the community, her husband included, began to speak of their vision as a messenger sent by God. She is scared that they will suffer the same fate as the lost tribe.
The strange Amerindian pendant.
American Indian is what I think it means. Occultism. Look at my occultism up. It's already up high, but we gotta start doing this. This is so low. Destination of an anatomical question. It is a work of student in book form. Although the observations are relevant, they lacked experience of an experienced physician. However, the questions asked allow us to imagine new ways of exploring human anatomy. Man, that is nice. I love that we're getting more clues about this. Letter from Sarah Hawkins. Inventory. Alright. Key to the Sanders Gallery. Interesting. Would you read the book? Huh. Beyond Reality. Malus Bestiarium, Volume 2. Oh, that's neat. Look at the yellow symbol in the center. It is kind of encyclopedia of monstrous and unknown creatures. I'm beginning to believe that they exist. This will affect your destiny. So, just like in the game, oh, that went from 30 something to 40. Improving the skill increases your chance of determining the use and origin of occult artifacts and of expressing your knowledge of the myth. Wow, that's 40. That's huge. Malus Bestiarium. Pierce read an ancient treatise that the Malus Bestiarium. This bestiary makes an inventory of numerous creatures from the occult world of parallel dimensions. The very nature of the knowledge make it an unholy book. By reading it, Pierce lost some of his sanity. The ordeal you've gone through have left you... Yeah, so that's interesting. So you can lose a lot of sanity, which I have not yet. The occult. Oh, Dimensional Shambler. Dimensional Chandler comes from a dark and inhospitable dimension where the rarity of food sources keeps it at a state of permanent starvation. This is why it is in constant state of readiness to travel to other dimensions in order to feed on its inhabitants. Make sure you never weaken the veils of your dimension, otherwise you risk attracting this very dangerous creature. Should this happen, you just have to lay eyes upon it for its being to anchor itself in your dimension to allow it to rip you open with its claws. Alright, well that makes me... And mouse meat. Men will gather the knowledge through the lines dictated to me by the great old ones, but also in other volumes. The visions that assail me whisper me names and silhouettes of mystical creatures. Soon the Malus Monstrorum, repository of all anatomical, cosmic, and dimensional knowledge, will be seen as the authoritative work. This book, unholy among the most cursed books, will one day be the final rampart between man and the predators that are waiting to devour him, hidden behind the veils of parallel dimensions. Alright, and I got a key to Sanders' own gallery. For instance, Sanders must possess quite a collection of art for him to have his own gallery. Knowledge. Wow. Alright, that's interesting. Very tentacly. My sanity levels are...
That's twice you've stepped on my toes, Detective. Try not to make a habit of it.
I've got a lot of bad habits.
Some can be more fatal than others. What have you come looking for in this gallery?
Another painting by Sarah Hawkins. One connected to the horrors I've discovered on this island.
What a surprise. I'm listening.
I found this drawing of a dagger. Did you come across anything like it in your reading?
Perhaps. I saw several daggers in the ledgers. I could always check. What I didn't find, however, was the slightest reason why I should help you, Detective.
I don't need your services. I can manage all on my own, thanks.
Do it then. Not now, sweetheart. I'd like to read this without some snoop looking over my shoulder. Go take a hike, Detective.
Okay. Oh my god. Alright, so I know what's going to happen here. Everything seems copacetic, but what's going to happen is we're going to see the Shambler for what it is, and then have to run around and hide. I hate hide games. I hate games where you have to... Oh, shoot. Man. More of the world rising from the stuff, it looks like.
These artifacts date from pre-Columbian times.
They're very, interesting. It's like a mix of... Oh, there's that statue. It's like a mix... That's insanity. What a cool painting, though. I have a feeling I gotta remember where all these are, so I can hide stuff.
These artifacts date from pre-Columbian times.
Alright, don't want to go look at that yet.
The man transformed an entire wing of his manor into an art gallery.
There's... Oh, maybe that's the candles. Wow, that's interesting. Wow. Things are bleeding blood. Some of these things are hard to even visualize. Oh, it's like different pieces of the Shambler.
The public entrance to the gallery.
Oh. Maybe it's my way out. Oh, I already know what's going to happen. The first time we see the first time we look at the picture of the Shambler, we will then be... Oh, man.
Why was he so interested in old weapons?
Oh, there's something inside this rock, a tablet. Okay, so I'm kind of curious if what we're seeing is because my sanity is low. I wonder if this stuff changes based on throughout the time if your sanity is higher. Oh, thank God for that. Alright. Different knives. I think the knives are going to be important. Oh, can't heat the stove. Oh man, I'm so nervous. Oh, more oil? Okay, we're gonna need the lantern here. When I look at that picture, all hell's gonna break loose. I need to remember. So, there's one in there. When we hide, is there one in here? There's one in here. I'm gonna remember all the daggers. One there. One there. I have a feeling. Let's just keep an eye out on everything. Do you want to come in here with me? There's that one. There's that one. That one. Lots of daggers. I hope I don't have to... Alright, so, when we turn to leave, there's hiding in there, and there's hiding in there. Oh, I'm glad I came over here first. Drawing of a dagger. Far from possessing the talents of Sarah Hawkins, Sanders drew a dagger with a tortured form down to the smallest detail. The guard carries a strange esoteric symbol, a reoccurring feature of his correspondence with Sarah. Okay, so a twin spiel dagger with a blade. Okay. Alright, let's see if we can find this dagger, because we may have to grab a dagger while something's hunting us. Not that one. 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 That one. This is it.
Why was he so interested in old weapons?
That's the dagger right here. So we're going to have to make it in here to get this dagger. Yeah. So this one. Okay. Hiding daggers. Alright. So oils, lanterns. Oh, I'm so scared. How much time do we have left? Alright, we got time. Okay. Why you look at it? Yes, you're looking at it, which anchors it to this world. Behind you. Don't look at it.
What the hell was that? I can't even touch it.
Oh. Oh. Well, I'm dead. Nope, I gotta redo it again, I guess. Here we go. Well, I guess you just restart. Okay. That's easy. Alright. So.
What the hell was that? Damn. This dagger looks different.
Oh. Alright. Died again. Alright, last checkpoint. So we'll try it again. That's a lot of deaths. Alright.
What the hell was that?
Alright.
This dagger looks different.
Well, that's one way to do it. Cut its arm. Okay, well, that makes sense. Oh, I've been marked.
What's the matter with you?
From beyond.
You sure you won't be needing that hand? You're losing it, Detective. At this rate, you're right. The bottle will get you before I do.
You didn't see anything.
I saw you within an inch of putting a dagger through your forearm. Did I miss something more interesting?
Sanders was right. This painting is cursed.
What are you talking about?
I was attacked by a creature. I pushed it back, I think.
I think so too.
You knew. You knew about the beast.
What are you talking about? Think yourself lucky that I saved your hand, even if it was to save my goods.
You mean me?
Don't flatter yourself, sweetheart. I'm talking about the contents of this gallery. And by the way, where do you think you're going with that dagger?
It saved my life. It's an extraordinary dagger.
You should talk to Algernon Drake. He's an antique dealer here on Darkwater. He'll tell you all about it. From what I saw in the ledgers, it was him who sold it to Sanders.
It's not your style to give me free information like that.
Take it as payment for being my canary. A simple trade-off. Now go see your antique seller. I've still got things to settle with Irene.
What was in that box? Maybe it's something I missed. The nameless bookstore. The shambler turned out to be much more than artwork painted by Sarah Hawkins, as a huge creature came out of the painting to attack Pierce. After a hard fight, the detective managed to send it back into the painting. He later discovered that the dagger he used to repel the creature has been sold to Sanders by a man named Algernon Drake, owner of the nameless bookstore. Pierce decides to pay the store library a visit. Enter the madness. Oh, that's not good. Interesting.
Where is the bookseller?
Yeah, okay. I wanted to make sure the glass was broken in, so that makes sense.
Another volume of the
Ooh.
Reverend's wife's diary.
The pastor declared himself to be the prophet. He renounced God and worshipped a strange pagan entity with a monstrous appearance. His wife tried to reason with her husband, but in vain. He was convinced that he must listen to the voice in his head because it holds the truth. Alright. Okay. Did you guys just see that book fall? That book opened on its own. This one right here. I literally just saw that book open.
Freud's The Interpretation of Dreams.
This
It's the work that laid the foundations of psychoanalysis at the beginning of this century.
practical works written by Sigmund Freud for psychologists describes the techniques of analytical interpretation of dreams. The analysis must follow several rules, especially that of free association, a principle announced by Freud at the end of the 19th century. It treats dreams as a way of revealing buried desires. I cannot believe that this theory is applicable to my nightmares. Yes, medical. Ooh, and I got points to distribute. Let's go. 2 though. This has to help me get something opened. We want to get that, start getting that up higher. Yes. Oh, and creature insanity. Here we go. Medicine. Wait, what? Skills. Do I still have points? Oh, I have 2 points still? Oh, wait. That's why. Yes. Dark water. Sanders' residence. The Sanders house, all in shades of red and in gold, is impressive, but nothing matches the private gallery of Francis Sanders. The place is huge and entirely dedicated to his passion for troubling and macabre works. He features of virgins, sacrificial daggers, statues of monsters, and the paintings that led him to his demise take center stage. The Shambler, a painting by Sarah Hawkins, a close friend of the couple. What happens in this room, I will never be able to forget it. Dagger of the Ancients. It has a protective symbol on it in the center. If you see that, that's the Elder sign. This exceptional dagger of Ottoman origin probably dates from the 16th century. It bears the Elder sign on its hilt. It apparently belonged to Paragali Ibrahim Pasha, Grand Vizier of the court of Suleiman the Magnificent. Legend tells that Paragali used the symbol on the dagger to protect the court from a creature that haunted the mirrors of the palace. What is certain is that Suleiman had his advisor executed. Did he fear him after this demonstration of power? Painting of the Shambler. The painting was exposed in Francis Sanders' gallery, but I think that the creature no longer requires it for movement. It went to hunt down Sanders in the cellar of the Riverside Institute. I do not know where it comes from, but one thing is sure, it's starving. Did I succeed in sending it back to its world? I am not sure. You did not, because it marked you. Picture of the dagger. Inventory. Alright. There's something about that book. History of Darkwater Volume 2. A Puritan colony led by Reverend John Wickwood settled on the island during the 17th century. They named the island Darkwater because of the dark shades of the sea. They believed it was because of the peculiar color of the rocks surrounding the island. They erected the first buildings, among which were the Hawkins Manor, the church, and the cemetery. The rare documents and handwritten notes they left spoke of nightmares and deviant behaviors. They disappeared at the beginning of the 18th century. Harry Campbell. Oh, interesting. Volumes. Okay. Oh yeah. We're gonna read this book.
What does this strange book contain? This book contains unholy knowledge.
There's the Shambler. This collection catalogs and classifies creatures that I've never heard of. Divinities from stars, creatures capable of traveling from dimensions to another. It presents itself as the reference work on the bestiary of the myth, without giving details on the mythology to which it refers. Its pages are covered with phantasmal illustrations. So he had one all along. Handbook of Anatomy and Dissection, Book 2. As precise and illustrated with so much detail at the first volume, this book focuses on healing surgery specific to malformations and motor disorders. Nice, we're at 30% there. We're almost at 50% at Cult. That's awesome. Interesting. Oh, wait.
The Book of Zion is the foundational work behind Helena Blavatsky's Theosophical movement. Its followers place truth on the same footing as a religion.
These Tibetan writings are the origin of the esoteric movement found by Helena Blavatsky at the end of the 19th century. The creator of Theosophy would have drawn extensively on the context of this work, but no one has ever been able to consult them. I thought they didn't exist. This book, discovered in the nameless bookstore on Darkwater, could be as much of a fake as irrefutable proof of the Blavatsky sincerity. More. I have now hit over 50%. Knowing the occult will change my... We're gonna go this way. Like I said, I'm pretty sure this book closed. I'll have to rewatch the video. Wait, is this? What is this? 20,000. Oh, I already found it. Maybe you find it in here if you didn't find it the first time. Alright, let's see. Anything hidden? Oh, a lot of occult drawings and stuff. History of Darkwater Volume 4. In the 19th century, as the American whaling industry reached its peak in the rest of the world, whales gradually disappeared from the water surrounding Darkwater. This mysterious phenomenon appears even more mysterious because up till then the region was favored refuge for cetaceans. In 1847, after months of pursuit, Scylla returns to port with a gigantic creature on board. Its crew asserts that the sea monster had eaten all the disappeared whales. After a night of ferocious combat, the survivors managed to drag the beast onto the whaling ship. There's a lot of... Alright. Nothing else I'm seeing. We're getting really close to the end here. Or I got like 30 seconds left. Maybe like 2 or 3 minutes. But I don't want to go too far.
What happened here? What a strange amulet.
Amulet of a
I have a feeling I'd better not touch it.
Huh. A strange amulet. The pendant is the shape of a very large dog. I don't know what it represents. I might find out more by searching the bookstore. The Hound. I better not touch it. So he takes it. Interesting. The Nameless Bookstore. I've never seen such a collection of works on magic and cultism. Algernon Drake, the owner, prides himself on being a luminary in the study of esoteric phenomena. The library was ransacked during an attempted burglary. It holds numerous rare or forbidden works. Its back room houses safe protection by an ancient symbol. The Hound. Do not make the mistake of taking this jewel for an inanimate object. The soul of a powerful sorcerer, devourer of bodies of the Lang cult, a sect of the Central Asia, lies in this jade amulet. His very characteristic form, a massive hunting dog, represents the transformation of the sorcerer into a man-eating ghoul. Whoever unearths the amulet and wears it around his neck is at risk of the sorcerer's wrath. The latter will return in the shape of a formidable hunter to track the and dismember all defilers. Wonderful. And one last book. Handbook of Anatomy on Dissection. This least can be said about this book is that its title is well conceived. The illustrations of human anatomy and dissection methods presented are illustrated in great detail. You have to have a strong heart and a detachment proper to doctors to consult this page. Book 1. Interesting. We're going to go back out here. Inventory. And all these books we got and everything. Alright. What did I miss? Oh, there's probably one at the bottom. There we go. Alright. I can't save anything. I can only reconstruct. So we will stop here, and I'll come back because I'll probably have to research the bookstore and then come back and do this. So I'll do the same things for the next one. So I appreciate you guys hanging with me. Excited to start part 8 of this, journey. And I look forward to hanging out with you guys again and going more insane as we go. I hope you have a great day. Have a great end of the month, being that it's March 29th. And remember, keep those keys safe.